1:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danishka Madavala and read by Niranjan Abesundara. President Ranil Wickremesinghe called on every Sri Lankan to contribute to creating a glorious and prosperous country. The government hopes to restart the hot development programs if the IMF financial restructuring process has ended by September. Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman Silva say the aviation safety of the country is at an excellent level. 3 people arrested with 140 kilos of Kerala cannabis and ice. The president calls for immediate establishment of Agriculture Modernization Secretariat. In world news, Putin congratulated Russian troops and Wagner for capturing Bakhmut. In sports news, Manchester City win Premier League for third successive season after Arsenal lose. President Ranil Wickremesinghe called on every Sri Lankan to contribute to creating a glorious and prosperous country. He is speaking at a ceremony declaring open in Kagala, Aranaka, Asapuni Alla water scheme. This was the largest water project in the Sabaragama province, providing drinking water to 50,000 families. Dr. Bandargula says that if the IMF financial restructuring process has ended by September, the government will be able to restart the development programs which are being halted at present. He emphasized the country should be governed without fake political stories. People have a right to know the real story of the country. The minister said the team who destroyed the country cannot solve these issues. The final rites of the chief prelate of the Amarapura Mahanikaya, Agga Mahapandita, Most Venerable Dolampahala Chandasiri Mahanayaka Thera will take place today at Independence Square at 3 p.m. with full state honours. Governor General of Buddhist Affairs, Sunanta Kariparamas said, remains of the late Mahanayaka Thera lie at Gautamathapu Vanaya at Kalapalawaba in Rajagiriya, and the cortege was scheduled to leave the temple at 1 p.m. today. The Mahanayaka Thera of the Amarapura Mahanikaya, Most Venerable Dolampahala Chandasiri Thera, passed away on Tuesday. The Mahanayaka Thera was born on 20th December 1939 at the Dolampahala in the southern province. Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman says that the aviation safety of the country is at an excellent level. This was proven by the technical international recognition received to Sri Lankan aviation safety. The ministry emphasized the Sri Lankan aviation industry and Sri Lankan airspace is also safe. The ministry emphasized the remark the progress review of the International Aviation Safety Audit. This was held under patronage of the minister recently. Sri Lanka Army has come forward to support the dengue eradication drive of the government. The Army will support task force appointed dengue control in the future. Investigations for the dengue breeding places and destroying the mosquito breeding grounds will also be done with the support of the Sri Lanka Army. Suspected places, government institutions, private properties and religious places will be investigated. Drones will be used to investigate the remote areas and places unable to reach. More than 35,000 dengue patients have been identified throughout the country at present. Highest number of patients reported from Colombo, Gampaha and Kadra districts. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Officers of the Police Special Task Force arrested 3 persons with a stock of ice and Kerala cannabis belonging to 2 organized criminals and drug traffickers who run the drug network in Sri Lanka from abroad. Special Task Force officers during 2 separate raids conducted in Gampa and Sadhusidhu police divisions have seized 145 kilos and 298 grams of Kerala ganja, 320 grams of ice hidden in a cylindrical plastic tube, 3 mobile phones, 2 bank cards, 2 digital scales and 200,500 rupees in cash. The suspects are residents of Hangwella, Udugampala and Kurad areas. They have been handed over to the Police Narcotics Bureau for further investigations. Information has received that the stock of these drugs belong to organized criminals and drug traffickers Koralgamage Mahidu Matvisri Pereira and Singakutti Arachege Kushan Avishka Vunasiri, who are currently running a drug network in Sri Lanka from abroad. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has instructed immediate establishment of an Agricultural Modernization Secretary to address the issues arising in the Agricultural Modernization Program. The President's Media Division reported the relevant directive was given during a discussion held at the Regional Secretariat on Friday to formulate a policy framework for modernizing the agriculture sector. Accordingly, the Head of State instructed the President Secretary to appoint additional secretaries from the President's Office, the Ministry of Agriculture and other aligned ministries, along with officials of equivalent ranks to serve in the Agricultural Modernization Secretariat. He emphasized the importance of involving the private sector in these activities. President Wickremesinghe further highlighted that the armed forces are also contributing to the agricultural modernization program. He instructed the official to publicize activities of the Modernization Secretariat, which should include collaborative efforts between the public and private sectors. These activities will be based on research conducted in key research areas such as tea, coconut, rubber, paddy, cinnamon and fisheries. And that was local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The main news story, the Mystery World Tourism 2023 will take place in Sri Lanka for the first time in July. The pageant is set to showcase the country's scenic religions and tourism hotspots as 40 contestants from abroad around the world will compete for the Miss World Tourism title. The pageant will be launched on July 20th and take contestants to Sigiriya, Kandy, Arugambe, Yala and Hikkaduwa, wrapping up on the 11th day of the main event at the Lumpokona Theatre.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight Community General Examinations, Amit Jayasundara said that arrangements are finalized to conduct the GCE O-level examination on the 29th of this month. The examination will be conducted at 3,000 facility centres in the island until the 8th of June. That came to in Watchlight. And on to world news, Putin congratulates Russian troops in Wagner for capturing Bakhmut. Private investment in Bangladesh falls for second time in 3 years. Sudan's Army Rapid Support Forces signed 7-day ceasefire. Russia has claimed to have fully captured Ukraine's Bakhmut, with President Vladimir Putin congratulating his troops and the mercenary Wagner group for taking the largely level eastern city. The Russian announcement on Saturday came hours after Kyiv said battle was still continuing while admitting the situation was critical. Bakhmut, a salt mining town that once had a population of 70,000 people, has been the scene of the longest and bloodiest battle in Russia's 15-month war in Ukraine. The fall of Bakhmut, where both Russia and Ukraine are believed to have suffered huge losses, would represent Moscow's first big victory in the conflict in more than 10 months. The private investment to GDP ratio in Bangladesh declined in the current fiscal year owing to a lower confidence among investors amid the persisting dollar crisis and global uncertainty, high inflation and a fall in demand for goods in international markets. The private investment to gross product ratio declined by 0.88% to 23.64% in 2022-2023, per usual data from Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics have showed. This is the second fall in the ratio in 3 years. For latest news, follow the Daily Star Google News channel. Usually private investment either remains unchanged or slightly increases in a fiscal year compared to the preceding year. However, it witnessed a slight decline in 2021 owing to the impacts of COVID-19. Warring factions in Sudan have agreed to a 7-day ceasefire following talks in Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah, according to a statement from Washington and Riyadh, as fighting has killed hundreds and displaced more than 1 million entered its 6th week. The ceasefire agreement was signed late on Saturday. It will take effect 48 hours after at 9:45 p.m. local time on Monday. The sponsors of the talks, the United States and Saudi Arabia, have said in their joint statement. Numerous previous ceasefire agreements were violated. However, this agreement will be enforced by U.S., Saudi and International Support Monitoring Mechanism. The statement said without providing details. The agreement also calls for distributing humanitarian assistance, restoring essential services, and withdrawing forces from hospitals and essential public facilities. Back to the headlines of the world news. Putin congratulates Russian troops Wagner for capturing Bakhmut. Private investment in Bangladesh falls for a second time in 3 years. Sudan's Army Rapid Support Forces signed 7-day ceasefire. That was world news.
Development news.
Sri Lanka's High Commissioner in India, Melinda Morgula, met India's Minister of Power and New and Renewable Energy, Sri Rajkumar Singh, in New Delhi on Thursday to discuss ways and means of further enhancing cooperation with India in the power and renewable energy sector. The duo discussed a range of issues pertaining to bilateral cooperation in the power and renewable energy sector, including the grid connectivity between Sri Lanka and India. Discussion particularly focused on the ways and means to deepen and broaden long-term strategic cooperation in the sector. And on to sports news. Manchester City have been crowned Premier League champions for the third successive season after title rivals. Arsenal lost at Nottingham Forest. The Gunners, top for the majority of the campaign, are 4 points behind City, with only one game left to play after being beaten 1-0 on Saturday. Pep Guardiola's side have won the title in 5 of the past 6 campaigns. They've also a chance to claim the treble with FA Cup and Champions League finals to come next month. Manchester United in 1998-1999 had previously achieved the feat, and it is their derby rivals whom City will meet at Wembley on 3rd of June before facing Inter Milan a week later in Istanbul, where they will hunt with a first Champions League triumph. That is sports news.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapuhina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship ekamenna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Air Asia, after a long layoff, marks another foray into South Asia by offering direct services between Colombo and Bangkok. The 4 flights a week service due to be launched on July 9th with provincial all-in fares. Thai Air Asia operates the widest network in domestic Thailand and offers several international connections to other prominent cities in Asia. Travellers from Sri Lanka who wish to explore beyond Bangkok can enjoy a convenient fly-through service with just a single-time baggage check-in from Colombo and make a brief transit in Bangkok to continue seamlessly to other destinations in Thailand and beyond.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapuhina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship ekamenna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
For the 5th consecutive year, LOLC is awarded People's Financial Services Brand of the Year at the 2022 Slim Kantar People's Awards. As the People's Financial Services Brand of the Year, LOLC continues to place the customer first, and this has won the hearts, minds and trust of Sri Lankans, with yet another prestigious award as proof of this lasting commitment. LOLC, imagine the possibilities.
In economic news, Western Province Solid Waste Management Master Plan has been finalized. The final joint coordinating committee meeting on the project formulation of the Western Province Solid Waste Management Master Plan was held recently. Elected Secretary for the Provincial Councils and Local Government, Ministry of Public Administration, Home Affairs, Provincial Councils and Local Government, Ms. Kodipiliarachi, expressed her appreciation to JICA to support solving waste management issues in Western Province. He stated that the relevant ministries and Western Province work together to support local authorities for the implementation of the MP. She also highlighted that the MP is a valuable and exemplary model that other provinces can follow. That is economic news.
LOLC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LOLC Finance claims the overall gold award, whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Weather report.
Showers and showers will occur at times in the Western Province and in the God and Mathura districts. Showers and showers will occur at several places in Sabragamo, Central, Eastern and Lower provinces in the evening or night. Strong winds up to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected at times in North and North Central provinces and in the Puttalam district. And back to the headlines once again. Pranab Wickremesinghe called on every Sri Lankan to contribute to creating a glorious and prosperous country. Government hopes to restart the halted development programs if the IMF financial restructuring process has ended by September. Mr. Dimasi Baldesilva say the aviation safety of the country is at an excellent level. 3 people arrested, 145 kilos of Kerala cannabis and ice. President calls for immediate establishment of Agriculture Modernization Secretariat. In world news, Putin congratulates Russian troops and Wagner for capturing Bakhmut. In sports news, Manchester City with the Premier League for 3rd successive season after Arsenal lose. Well, that was the news.